This is Lawrence Krauss. He is one of the most mentioned people in the Epstein files, believe it or not. And he's also one of the most famous atheists on planet Earth. I wanted to talk about his connection to Jeffrey Epstein because it's pretty fucking vile, actually, as it turns out. But let me just give you an introduction to Lawrence Krauss if you don't know him. This is Lawrence Krauss and Richard Dawkins, the actual most famous atheists on planet Earth.
Yeah,
Yes.
when you say sex assigned at birth is arbitrary, it suggests that in fact sex is assigned and it's not real.
Okay, first of all, nobody says that sex assigned at birth is arbitrary. Anyway, okay.
And so it's the cultural aspect that's pushing people to make this confusion between gender and
I think
sex.
it would be like saying to an anorexic person who's skeletally thin, "It's okay. You're not thin. You're not. It's kind of like that. It's pushing them into it."
Yeah, well, and just
So affirming somebody's gender, just calling them she if they're trans, that's like telling an anorexic person that they really are very fat and that they should lose weight or something. Is that what he's saying?
so both you and I can get into more troubles. There's this thing of where fat shaming, where people who are extremely obese don't. There are health problems with being extremely obese, like it or not. But the current fad is to not suggest there's a problem there.
That's a lie, actually. You want to hear something really fascinating? I went on a whole deep dive into this and discovered that the health at every size movement that claims that you are not fat if you are fat, or you're not, let me rephrase, that claims that you're not unhealthy for being very overweight, that whole thing is fake. It's astroturfed. There is a health at every size organization that's existed since, I think, the 60s, the 70s, if I remember correctly. And the goal is to make people more comfortable. Basically, you should be able to go into a hospital waiting room and sit in a comfortable chair and not have to sit in a chair that's too tiny for you. Airplanes' seats should be larger and more comfortable. There should be a baseline level of comfortability. That's the bottom line. And this organization gets $300,000 in funding per year, but Kellogg, General Mills, and a bunch of other very famous companies, like the people that make Little Debbie, I forget who that is, they have been paying dietitians on the Tic Tac to make insane, egregious claims about how it's healthy to be heavy and how if your body's telling you need another jelly donut, then it's because you need another jelly donut. The actual organization, Health at Every Size, brings in $300,000 a year. The influencers being paid to spread this garbage are being paid millions per year. That's called astroturfing. That's what that is, astroturfing. So anyway, this whole thing is fake. Hostess, is that what it is? Hostess? The company's name Hostess? Anyway, the point is it's all fake. It's all made up. And this dumb son of a bitch, this Epstein client here, fell for it like the sucker that he is.
I mean, to be proud of being that, and
Yes.
and and I understand it because you don't want to, the difference is you don't want to discriminate against people who are obese, but you don't have to say that it's healthy.
Nobody says that. Literally nobody, except for the dietitians being paid by Kellogg and General Mills.
Yes, quite.
And I'm sure I'll get hate mail for that one. But
Oh my God, who the fuck is sending him hate mail over something like that?
anyway,
The point is, Lawrence Krauss is a complete sack of shit, but it gets worse, believe it or not. It gets worse. Here's the scale of his relationship with Epstein. Krauss's name is mentioned more than 5,200 times in the Epstein files, with thousands of communications dating back to 2006 when Krauss was at Case Western Reserve University. At least 60 emails were exchanged directly between Krauss and Epstein. Krauss's science outreach organization, the Origins Project, received $250,000 from Epstein. Krauss sought Epstein's advice on sexual misconduct allegations. This is the most damning material. In late 2017, Krauss reached out to Epstein after being accused of sexual misconduct himself, and he sent him a draft response and writing, "Could use advice." Epstein responded by asking, "Did you have sex with her? Condom? Did she take it?" and advised Krauss not to respond. Krauss forwarded media correspondence to Epstein. The files show Krauss forwarding Epstein his correspondence with BuzzFeed news reporters investigating him, as well as communications with Arizona State University officials. Krauss sent Epstein draft versions of public statements, calling one a Kavanaugh version and another almost Jeffrey-level smart. They were best friends. You want to talk about Trump and Epstein being best friends? These guys were best friends. I think that Krauss probably replaced Trump, like, later on. Like, Trump was Epstein's best friend through the 80s and 90s and 2000s, and then Krauss was best friends with Epstein from 2008 to 2017, or 2019, whenever he died. Just a reminder, I would really appreciate it if you guys checked out my Patreon. If you're not going to donate, you don't have to, but follow me there at the very least, owenmorgan.com/Patreon. Just in case something happens with the government or whatever. It would be really good if you had some way to connect with me and my content. I'm really concerned about that, and maybe you should consider that for other creators too. He tried to get a lawyer to consult Epstein. Krauss contacted lawyer Justin Dillon and made what he called an unusual request. He wanted Dillon to call Epstein for advice on his Title IX investigation. Epstein was furious when Krauss disclosed their relationship to the lawyer, writing, "Every email is to do with engagement/money. In the future, please do not disclose our conversations with who I speak, or please do not disclose our conversations or who I speak with. Exclamation mark, exclamation mark, exclamation mark." How many do we have here? Exclamation mark, exclamation mark, exclamation mark. End quote. Personal closeness. In 2011, Krauss wrote Epstein. This is on the Globe and Mail, by the way. In 2011, Krauss wrote Epstein, "Beyond anything else, you are my friend. I hope we can always remember that no matter what." Pariahs Club joke. In 2018, Krauss responded to Epstein's joke about doing Men of the World conference by suggesting it include Kevin Spacey, Bill Clinton, Al Franken, and Woody Allen, all men publicly accused of sexual wrongdoing. Derogatory language about his accusers. In an August 2018 email after ASU, which was Lawrence Krauss's university, after ASU found he had groped a woman at a conference in Australia, Krauss asked Epstein for a seat on his jet and referred to the woman who made the incident public as the bitch. The Woody Allen connection. In January 2019, a text from Woody Allen's number to Epstein read, "Thinking of you as we're seeing Lawrence Krauss for dinner tonight." Epstein responded, "A member of Me Too casualties." Epstein tried to use Krauss for access, apparently. Documents from February 2026 Department of Justice releases indicate Epstein emailed Krauss attempting to get him to introduce Epstein to podcaster Joe Rogan. And he tried. Joe Rogan talks about how hard Lawrence Krauss tried to get Epstein on Joe Rogan, and Rogan just wanted none of it, fascinatingly. Regarding consequences, the Aristotle Foundation, a Canadian think tank that Krauss is associated with, cut ties with him after these emails were released, saying they were unaware of these allegations or his connection to Jeffrey Epstein. Again, that's from the Globe and Mail. Here, I'll show you. It's from this article. This is what I'm pulling from. But, God, it's got a paywall. So anyway, it's kind of frustrating. I hate paywalls. Regarding Krauss's defense of Epstein, believe it or not, it gets even weirder. Krauss told the Daily Beast, quote, in 2011, "If anything, the unfortunate period he suffered has caused him to really think about what he wants to do with his money and his time and support knowledge. Jeffrey has surrounded himself with beautiful women and young women, but they're not as young as the ones that were claimed. As a scientist, I always judge things on empirical evidence, and he always has women ages 19 to 23 around him, but I've never seen anything else. So as a scientist, my presumption is that whatever the problems were, I would believe him over other people." He added, "I don't feel tarnished in any way by my relationship with Jeffrey. I feel raised by it." So we know for a fact that Lawrence Krauss was accused by women and was upset that he was outed as the sex pest that he is, and referred to them as that bitch when to Jeffrey Epstein. That is wild, dude. This guy is the biggest piece of shit on planet Earth, honestly. I am so sad to hear that. Also, notice he's using his position as a scientist to bolster his own credibility and to defend a predator, a literal pedophile. Regarding the Skepchick early encounter, when Skepchick, which is another YouTuber, reached out to Lawrence Krauss for context on his defense of Epstein. He essentially doubled down, claiming Epstein was the actual victim, that the teenage girls took advantage of him, and that they made false accusations to get his money. That's psychotic. This one is from Skepchick's website, skepchick.org. Absolutely insane. When colleagues questioned him, Krauss argued that Epstein was an easy target for those who want to take advantage of him, and that he believed Epstein when he told me, quote, and that he believed Epstein when, quote, he told me he had no idea the girls were underage. You're the biggest sucker on planet fucking Earth, then. Please. Even in 2011, he acknowledged seeing young women around Epstein, though, is the point. And regarding Krauss's island visit, in 2006, Krauss organized a conference on St. Thomas funded by Epstein's foundation, which included a trip to Epstein's private island for dinner. I just created a new website, firesidewatch.com. You can watch videos with friends, and everybody can play or pause the video. I made it so I could collaborate with other YouTubers, but I figured I might as well make it available to everybody. On top of that, you can add videos to the queue, upvote them, and sort by most upvoted. Give it a look, firesidewatch.com. And while you're at it, check out my Patreon, owenmorgan.com/Patreon. You can follow me there for free. He helped invite roughly 20 well-known physicists, including Stephen Hawking. I didn't know that. MIT physicist and attendee Alan Guth later told the New York Times that Epstein was always followed by a group of something like 3 or 4 young women. Jesus Christ, dude. As recently as September 2015, Krauss was discussing visiting Epstein's Caribbean island again, telling him he was eager to see you down there, and that he was working to finish a book so I can actually celebrate that as planned. So I can actually celebrate that as planned on the trip. Epstein's PR strategy through Krauss. Epstein told Krauss to discredit his accusers by depicting them as irrational and opportunistic. Quote, concentrate on your point-by-point refutation. An article on women agreeing on seeing flying saucers does not make the claim real. Break the charges into ludicrous, ogling jokes, etc. That's Arizona Free News that reported on that one. Right here. Ex-ASU professor, renowned atheist physicist, asked Epstein for sexual misconduct advice. Krauss also served as a gateway for Epstein into the scientific community. At 2017 Origins Project workshop on artificial intelligence, Epstein showed up with 2 young East European-looking women, according to a postdoc who attended. Krauss introduced him as my friend Jeffrey. In 2014, Krauss put Epstein in touch with Scientific American's editor-in-chief, which led to Epstein being invited to observe editorial meetings at the magazine. He also emailed Krauss asking him to introduce him to Joe Rogan, as I said earlier. So I guess he's basically rebuilt his career outside of academia, Krauss has. He runs the Origins podcast with Lawrence Krauss, launched in 2019, and publishes a Substack blog called Critical Mass. In 2024, he edited a book called The War on Science. Oh, I remember that book. It was complete trash. It was a collection of essays from 39 academics addressing perceived threats to academic freedom, like DEI programs, wokeness, and cancel culture. Seriously. I should read that. You know what? I'm going to get a copy of it, actually, come to think of it. Give me a second. We'll go through some of it, probably. Let's see. See if I can find it real fast. Oh, legal, like. Yeah, legal. Yeah, we'll do it on your terms, motherfuckers. Hold on. I'm sorry, I got to do the bit. It's a requirement. A legal requirement for me to do the bit.
In Jasper County, motherfuckers, I'm coming for you. Yeah, motherfuckers, I'm coming for you. Yeah. All legal like. Yeah, legal. We'll do it on your terms, motherfuckers.
Yeah, all legal. We'll do it on your terms, motherfuckers. I'll find the book. All legal.
We'll do it on your terms, motherfuckers.
I love it so much, dude. I'm sorry. It's so good. Anyway, I'm going to get this book by Lawrence Krauss, all legal, and we're going to read it. We'll read it on air at some point. Anyway, the point is Lawrence Krauss is a complete piece of trash all the way down. Just a vile scumbag. Completely fucking worthless in one man's humble opinion. Let me know what you think about him in the comments. I am connected to him in some ways. So, I don't know, maybe I can get a message to him about what a complete sack of shit he is. Tell me your thoughts.